Um, I'm gonna react to TikTok, scary TikToks, top 10 scary TikToks on YouTube. So, hey. Yeah, I really hate this. I'm watching up there because I'm scared right now. Okay, okay, okay. What's going on, you guys? How y'all doing today? So, before we get started, there's a tons of reason why I can't stop thinking about it, cause in the comment, but I can't stop thinking about what I saw. I can't, bro. I really can't. But it's like I see something up there. But I think I already asked him later. I'm gonna ask him later though. Anyway, let's, bro. Some commentary stuff.
Here, it's like a sports camera there, and it's going to film the window just there. So we'll just see. We'll just see what happens and see if we do get actually a visitor tonight. We'll just make sure this is all shut and everything, which it is.
Oh no. Oh my god, why you get near that? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold up. Let's see. Hold up. See. Alright. Yes. I was fixing my hair though anyway, so let's get do this, bro. And y'all made me I was playing game, bro. I was distracted. Well, I feel like watching scary videos. Couldn't find TikTok and I just found this, so yeah.
Oh my fucking god, I swear to god, this thing just fucking looked at me. Oh my fucking god.
Alright, bro.
Oh my fucking god.
Cabrón, hincha la llorona.
Just ran
Escucho
out.
algo ahí abajo de la cama.
What? What is it? That scared me the heck out of me. I got close to right here. That head popped up under the damn couch. Oh my god, bro.
A slender white figure darted by the upstairs window. This pale, misty being quickly came into view from the right before disappearing behind the brick wall. Ben didn't see this while he was recording, but it was hard to miss when he was later reviewing his footage. This figure clearly appears to have a head, shoulders, and torso, making it very compelling proof of the paranormal.
What the f***? Oh, that's weird.
Huh?
Oh, that's weird. You didn't see it. Oh, bullshit. I think that window right there. I see that shadow. I like it, man. That nigga ran out and just stand there do nothing.
¡Oh, no mames! Me pegó en la cámara, güey. Hace, Señor, tu voluntad en la tierra como en el cielo.
Ay, no.
Cada bien, perdona nuestras ofensas como también nosotros perdonamos a los que nos ofendieron. No nos dejes caer en la tentación y líbranos y guárdanos de todo mal. Amén. Sacración y siglos, no tratos y siglos, vale, Satanás.
Nunca suerte y van a su maleta, así se ven vivas.
Voy.
You got it, bro. Come on. Get down there, bro.
Abajo, güey. ¿Dónde va? ¿Dónde está ella?
Ahí está.
What the?
Ahí está.
Get out. If you get near, you dead.
Está
abajo, güey.
Está abajo.
Está abajo.
Venga, chicos, venga.
Está abajo. Es que cuando corté, güey, se metió para acá. ¿Ustedes sí la agarraron, nada? Sí. Cuando se metió. Sí. Es que se me dejó venir, güey.
Yo digo que ya hay que ir saliendo, güey.
Se metió, güey. Se metió aquí, güey. Ahí está, güey. Aquí está, güey. A ver, aguanta. Lo tengo grabado todo, güey. Todo lo tengo grabado. Ustedes también.
Ay, güey, bendita. Ay, yo digo que ya hay que ir saliendo.
Pero haz de cuenta que yo, güey, la agarré cerquita a la cara, güey. Ahorita que la estaba grabando con el celular. No me quiero meter, güey. Porque si me meto, güey, va a salir.
Es que para salir va a ser el problema. Que si está pesado para salir ahí. Es el problema. Además también hay que tener cuidado porque nos estamos arriesgando mucho aquí por los animales.
Voy.
Oh my god.
¡Hey!
No, why you some dumb people?
¡Hey!
Oh, that sound.
¡Hey! Ahí está, güey, ahí está.
Get
¿Lo
out.
están agarrando?
Get out, bro. Look at her hands a knife, bro.
Mira bien. Mira, güey. No mames, ahí está abajo.
Ma, ese muñeco acaba de sonar solo y se está moviendo solo. ¡Movete, sapo perro! Ma. Mamá, se lo juro que yo no he activado nada. Mamá. Uy, quieto.
If your TV ever turns on its own in the middle of the night, a spirit might be trying to communicate with you. Here's why. One night, a couple's bedroom security camera recorded something horrifying while the couple was asleep.
TV turned on. Oh, shit. That's a scary part. I was in this bit. I would at least. My TV turned on.
In the video, as the TV turns on its own, the camera captures a tall, mist-like figure moving towards them. But as the TV turns on once again, whatever's causing this tries to let itself known to them.
was our videos part 1.
Walk like that, birds, bro. Let me just say this. When I first saw that, I heard grumbling. That scared me. Ooh, the freak. Ghost. I'm embarrassed. I was gonna say, that's the creepiest thing I heard. I heard grumbling and that thought this dummy would want to go in there, but nah. He just got right out right there, bro. Jeez, bro. By the way, what do y'all do if you were in situation? Never mind. I have no sense to say, bro. Nothing to say, bro. I just keep missing out. I see nothing. Oh. What's that? Oh. Someone's grabbing her? What? Someone's grabbing her arm. Is she oh, she was sleeping. You always keep paying on camera to it, bro. Oh, what is it? Oh, it's a man. Man. I'm not messing with that. What's up, though? Who walked out at night like this? Who's it? Oh, jeez. She alright? Oh, there's a little mark on her face. That's bad. Oh man, it's too loud. That scared me. Oh, okay, that was a close one. That's not mine, that's his. So, yeah, that scared me, so. Sorry, pausing, so let's just begin. Rude. Oh, shit, like an ant.
Oh!
Can you just explain what is that on that tub, bro? I have short hands, big head. Oh, this room.
Nope.
They even read it, but I would
Skinwalkers are actually real. Yes, you heard that correctly. For decades, people have claimed they saw a skinwalker, but no one ever had proof to prove their claim. But what if I told you we finally have 100% proof they are real? In 2018, Mark Lay, a man from Texas, went camping with his 2 sons and his wife in the mountains. When it was nighttime, they set up 2 tents to sleep. In the first part of the night, everyone was sleeping without a problem. But around 2 a.m., all of a sudden, Mark woke up because of a loud noise. At first, he thought it was a bear or maybe a deer, so he got out of his tent to see what was making this obnoxious noise. But what he saw will leave you speechless. He saw a weird creature, one he had never seen before.
Ooh.
He ran back to his tent to wake up his wife and described what he saw. She then told him that it was a skinwalker. He was filled with fear. Mark then decided to go to his kids' tent to see how they were doing, but they weren't in their tent. Subscribe and share with a friend for part 2 because it gets way crazier.
Terrifying.
I'd been a babysitter for years, working with several different companies and hundreds of families. This was just another job on a Thursday night. I drove to the house, getting there exactly on time, and met the parents. They were having a date night at a concert downtown and would be gone for 5 to 6 hours. It was 6:30 already, so this was a late job. They introduced me to their son, Jay, who was 10. He was very talkative and seemed to enjoy my company, and have me be his audience while he played. He played for around 2 hours before I started getting hungry. I let him continue playing in the living room while I made something to eat in the kitchen. I spent maybe 5 minutes heating up a meal, but then all of a sudden, when I got back, Jay was different. He wasn't talking anymore, and he seemed really shy. I tried starting up conversations, but he would barely respond. I had no idea what happened. I asked him if everything was okay, but he just nodded. I didn't want to be bothering him about it too much, so I pretended like nothing was wrong and watched him play some more. Once 9:30 came around, I told him it was time for bed and made sure he got ready. He was still acting weird, trying to avoid me and delay going to bed for as long as possible. Finally, just before 10, he got in bed. I went downstairs and sat on the couch. I was replaying the whole night in my head, wondering what went wrong, but there really didn't seem to be anything I did. I left him alone for a few minutes while I made food, and then it was like he just flipped a switch. While I was thinking on the couch, I heard Jay upstairs. He was walking down the hallway and then opened a door. I quickly went upstairs to see what he was doing, but he wasn't in the hallway.
What?
I opened the door to his room, and there he was, sitting in his bed just as I left him. "What are you doing, Jay?" I asked nicely. He looked scared of me. After no response, I just decided to let it go and began walking out the door. But then he said to me he had to use the bathroom. I said okay and let him go down the hall. But while he was in there, I took a look around his room. It all looked like an ordinary 10-year-old boy's room. Just as I was walking out, I noticed something in the corner of my eye. I looked over, and right by the closet, I could see someone's eye. I hesitated, then walked out of the room and closed the door. I listened and didn't hear any movement in the room. As soon as Jay came out of the bathroom, I told him to be quiet and rushed him downstairs and into my car.
I hit my hand to the table and then dropped my phone to the keyboard. Jesus Christ, I'm gonna have to put a story up for this. This is so This is a huge ripper. Alright. Yep. Alright.
He was quiet, not responding to me at all. When the first officer came, he went right inside and caught the man walking around upstairs. He looked like a 30-year-old creep. When questioned, the man said he was a friend of Jay's and that Jay even let him in the house to babysit for the night. Strangely, when the parents got home, they basically pushed me away and didn't give me any more updates on what happened. There was obviously something really weird going on, because Jay was very scared of him. I don't know if they knew each other, or if this was a first-time encounter, but I hope it was all dealt with well by the police. I was 16. My my parents made me get a job.
Nice.
They were tough like that
Christ.
and made my older brother do the same when he turned 16 as well. He got a job in retail, working as a cashier for some tech shop, but I wanted to do anything other than that. The only thing that caught my attention was babysitting. I had younger cousins that I enjoyed being around, so I thought it wouldn't be so bad. There was a company in my town that I applied for, and after a short interview, they offered me a position. It wasn't a very normal hiring process, at least I don't think. Once hired, they took some pictures of me and had me fill out a bio of who I was. Then they posted me on their website as a babysitter. I waited. A few weeks went by, and still, nobody had booked me. My parents told me to be patient, but I was already looking for other jobs. Until one day, I finally got a notification. Someone booked me for a full night and morning, meaning I would have to spend the night there and continue watching them in the morning. It was on a Saturday, so I didn't have school, but spending the night somewhere else felt strange to me. I arrived at the house at the scheduled time of 10 p.m. I was met at the door by the dad, who invited me in. He was an older man, in his late 50s I bet, but he told me his daughter was only 4 years old. He showed me to the kitchen, where he had me sit at the table with him and talk to me for a good 25 minutes. He asked me all about myself. I wasn't sure if this was normal or not for parents to do when hiring a new babysitter, but I went along with it. At some point, I realized I hadn't met or even seen his daughter yet, so I asked where she was. He said she was upstairs in her room sleeping, and that I wouldn't have to worry about watching her until the morning. Then he got up abruptly and said he had to go, and would be back around 11 tomorrow morning. He stepped out and left me the key to the house. I remember feeling very confused about the whole situation. None of it felt like I thought it would. The first thing I did after he left was walk around the bottom floor. I forgot to ask where I was supposed to sleep, or if there was food for me to make, or any games for us to play. Probably all questions experienced babysitters would have asked right away. As I walked around, I began wondering where all the kids' stuff was. He said his daughter was 4, so I expected a mess of toys all over the house, but there wasn't a single toy in sight. I even checked in a few drawers that looked like they might have some, but there weren't any. The fridge and cabinets didn't seem to have much kid food either. I realized this was off to a really bad start, and I just needed to relax. I decided I would text the dad in the morning and ask him about the food and stuff, but for now I would just make myself a spot on the couch and sleep. I found a blanket and used the couch pillow, then turned off the lights. I tried to sleep for nearly 2 hours, but there was something off about the house that just kept me up. Then, at 1 a.m., I heard something click on the other side of the house. I shot up and looked across the room. The whole house was quiet now. I was sitting up for a minute until I heard the back door softly slide open. My heart was pounding as I got up and went to the hallway that had a clear view of the back door. I was confused to see the dad with his back to me while he was trying to softly close the door behind him. I believe this moment that I had to process everything before he saw me was likely the reason for my escape. As he turned and saw me, I started running for the front door. His footsteps followed behind me, rushing down the hallway and yelling at me to stop. I ran for my car and got in. The dad wasn't far behind, banging on my window as I backed out of the driveway.
Oh, good, bro.
While running away was a smart decision, the next one wasn't so much. I didn't say anything about what happened. I think I was worried that I had done something wrong or messed up as a babysitter somehow. A month later, though, I finally told my parents, and they said it was too late, but I should have reported it. It was an obvious red flag that the man didn't contact the babysitting company, practically showing that he was guilty of something. I'm sure there was no daughter, and no reason for me to be at his house, other than for some sick plan he had set up for me. I hired a babysitter for my 6-year-old a few months ago. I used a website to hire the same young girl every time because she was familiar with my son already. On this night, though, she wasn't available. I had somewhere to be at 5 and only needed someone to watch my son for a few hours, but there was only one babysitter able to come at that time. It was a 17-year-old boy named Ben, who looked nice in the pictures. I scheduled him to be here at 4:30, then waited. At 4:30, I had my son turn off his video games so that I could introduce them, but Ben still didn't show. I was watching out the windows for his arrival, but at 5, I called the website and asked where he was. They told me he clocked in on their app, supposedly meaning he arrived and was babysitting already. After discussing it a bit more, they canceled it and apologized, but said no one was available to cover for him. I was really angry, being forced to cancel my plans. At 6, I made dinner for myself and my son, and we started watching a show together. In the middle of the episode, there was a knock at the front door. I paused the show and went up to look through the peephole. A guy was on the porch, and I saw his car parked in our driveway as well. I opened the door. "Hi, I'm Ben," he said. I gave him one of those, "Are you serious right now?" looks. "You're over 2 hours late. Just go," I said, closing the door in his face. Not the nicest thing to do on my part, but I was honestly even more upset that he chose to show up still. I sat back down and played the show again. After a couple minutes, though, I checked the window and saw that his car was still there in the driveway. A cold rush ran through me. I went back to the door and looked out the peephole. It was dark, and at first I didn't see anything, but then, at the very bottom of the peephole, I saw him. He was standing very still, pressed all the way up against the door, like he was listening. I watched him for a few seconds, so creeped out that I was in a state of shock. I must have been visibly so, because my son called out to me in a worried voice. I snapped out of it and backed away, telling my son to go to his room and lock the door. I called the police, but I think Ben heard. He knocked on the front door, then the doorknob rattled, and he banged on the door again. I heard his footsteps move around to a nearby window, followed by him trying to pry it open. I ran around the house to make sure everything else was locked, then joined my son in his room while we waited for the police. 5 long minutes passed before I heard sirens approaching the house. When they pulled up, apparently Ben was sitting in his car, pretending like he was happy to see them. He made up a whole story about me being crazy and said he was just here to babysit at his scheduled time. His lies didn't last after I showed them the confirmation email saying he was supposed to come 2 hours ago. The next few weeks were overcomplicated, but at the end of everything, not much happened. Ben lost his job, but aside from that, nothing else was really done because he denied everything. It's really scary because if he had shown up on time, then I would have left my son alone with him. I don't know what he was trying to do, but I'm glad I didn't have to find out.
Well, got a knife.
This happened to me 2 years ago, and I know most people never experience a lockdown situation, and if they do, it usually would happen at school. But this actually happened to me during my retail job one night. I used to work in Des Plaines, which is a suburban area located north of Chicago. It was pretty much a regular day at work to start, and I mainly worked closing shifts because of school, so I'd get out around 10. Around 4 o'clock, my coworkers started showing around news stories coming out about riots currently happening down in the city. This was due to a certain police incident that was happening at the time. It was pretty intense though, as the rioters were breaking into stores and completely trashing everything, and even beating up employees. I honestly wasn't entirely sure what the reasoning was for harming the stores, but it was crazy. By 6 o'clock, the riot and protests were only getting bigger, with thousands of people participating and hundreds of stores being destroyed and looted. There was even talk of action spreading over to the outer areas of Chicago, including some of the suburban areas nearby. I was definitely keeping my eyes open and watching customers to make sure I was prepared for anything to happen. Another 2 hours went by, and at this point it seemed like the entire city was going up in flames, and some of my coworkers actually left early because they were so nervous. My manager that was working that night was a really understanding guy, and we didn't have many customers coming in anyways, so he didn't mind them going home early.
Serious?
I stayed though, as I really wasn't too worried, and knew I wouldn't be getting paid unless I stayed. Pretty soon I realized that that was a mistake. I was stocking product in an aisle on the far left side of the store, which was opposite of the main entrance, when I heard some yelling outside. I went to the front of the aisle, where I could look out the windows towards the front of the store, and I could see some people running around, but the glare from inside made it hard to actually see what was going on through the window. I started making my way towards the entrance of the store when the intercom came on, and I could hear my manager announce that the store was now in lockdown and everyone needed to immediately make their way to the back. Against my better judgment, my curiosity got the best of me, and I went a little bit further so I could see out of the front doors, which I was unaware of at the time had already been locked shut. I saw 10 to 15 people running along the windows, banging on the glass and trying to push and smash the doors open. It was one of the most shocking things I've ever seen in my entire life. I immediately started sprinting to the back of the store, noticing other employees and customers doing the same. When I got to the back, I saw my manager guiding people into the large refrigerated room where we keep deli meat and produce. For those who haven't worked in grocery stores or any other place with refrigerated rooms, these rooms are basically large insulated coolers with a huge metal door and usually some plastic flaps on the entrance as well. Anyways, I made my way in. I must have been one of the last people to make it, as just a few seconds later my manager sealed the door and locked it from the inside. I felt pretty safe in there, as I knew nobody could realistically break in without some real heavy tools. But what scared me was how long I'd be in there for. Like, what if a whole mob of people waited outside the door? I'd say there was a good 30 to 40 people in there with me, and a lot of them were really panicking, asking us if that door was going to hold. My manager calmed them down a little bit, but that's when we started to hear noise from within the store. Stuff shattering, falling over, screaming and yelling. I'll admit, hearing those noises in real life was terrifying. I was shaking as we could hear the sounds more and more clearly while they made their way towards the back of the store. Soon, their footsteps could be heard outside the room, and then a few seconds of silence before the door shook as someone attempted to open it. I guess they realized pretty quick that it was locked from the inside, and they started yelling and banging on it, screaming at us to open the door. We all tried to stay as quiet as we could, but some of the customers started crying as we could hear more people on the outside join in on the screaming and banging. One of them even yelled, "This is the police, open up," trying to fake us out or make fun of us or something. This went on for probably 15 minutes of constant banging and screaming before it began to slow down. Over the next 30 minutes, it slowly got calmer as most of them put their attention elsewhere. Every once in a while, someone would come around and bang on the door a few times and then leave. It took almost an hour of being in there for the police to clear the building and let us out safely. Walking out, the whole store was trashed. Shelves were pushed over, and product was scattered all over the floors. It was really crazy to see the store look like that. Anyways, as far as I know, the violence was mostly cleared overnight in the suburbs, but I think it continued down in Chicago for a few days. It was definitely the most intense situation I'd ever been in, though, and I'm glad everyone in the store was able to make it out unharmed.
It's a terrifying thing to do. If you're working at market, bro, I would rather run to the back with them. I'll just be quiet, just chill for a second, let them out there when it's over, bro. That's just that's creepy as heck, bro. That's insane.
I was 13 at the time and was in middle school. Our school was pretty small and nothing ever really happened, so I'd never been in any dangerous situation at school before this day. It was the start of the day, and I had just gotten to my second period class, which for me was English. The class went by as usual, with lectures and reading example writings. It was one of my least favorite classes, as I just found it boring. Anyways, the class was silent, as we were supposed to be reading an example paper, when suddenly the speaker makes a loud beep and turns on. "We are now in lockdown. This is not a drill." Everyone in the class began looking around at each other, confused and a little nervous. Like I said, I just never thought anything would ever happen here, so it was really shocking and confusing to hear that we were in lockdown, and it made me wonder what was actually going on. After a few seconds, my teacher started taking command and told us all to line up on the side of the wall by the door. Then he rushed to lock the door and turn off all the lights, but I guess the power cut out before he was able to himself. A couple of the girls in the class started crying a little, which I understand as it was a pretty stressful and suspenseful situation. I want to say almost 10 minutes went by with absolutely no sounds or anything, before sudden running footsteps could be heard going through the hallway outside of our classroom. Once they reached our class, they stopped abruptly. I could feel the whole room holding their breath as we waited, listening nervously. Then a boy started banging on the door, pleading us to be let into the classroom. I was honestly terrified, as I couldn't tell how old the boy sounded, and I looked over at my teacher, who looked equally as terrified as all of us. He got up and moved towards the door slowly, looking through the window. Then he quickly opened the door and let the boy in. I recognized him from just seeing him walking around the hallways before, but we never had any classes together. My teacher asked if he was okay, and then told him to sit along the wall with all of us. Once we were all settled again, I leaned over and whispered to him, asking what happened. He said he was in the bathroom during the lockdown and waited for a while before some middle-aged man came in and started banging on all the stall doors. Apparently, once the guy banged on his stall, he crawled under the side of the stall and made a run for it. Luckily, the man only chased him down a small hallway before letting off. This sent chills down my body, as if I suddenly realized that this was really happening and we were in real danger by some crazy guy. Not even a minute later, clear, loud footsteps were heard approaching our classroom door. Some of the other kids in the room were holding their mouths shut, trying through the room. A few seconds later, 2 or 3 more sets of footsteps walked up to the door, and the group began talking to each other. It was too muffled to hear what they were saying, but knowing that it was a whole group of dangerous men made my stomach drop. I looked over at my teacher, who was trying to calm one of the girls, but even he seemed terrified. Then one of the men outside yelled, and all their footsteps ran away. I guess the cops had finally shown up. I could feel the sense of relief from the whole class. We stayed there for another 20 minutes before it was all finally clear, and then the situation was dismissed. Apparently a whole group of sketchy guys walked in, asking to pull out one of their kids from a class. Obviously, none of them were actually parents to any of the kids, so the whole thing escalated, and they forced their way into the building. That's about all we were told, but it was definitely a situation that I'll remember for the rest of my life.
Wow. That is the scariest thing on lockdown at school, bro. That happened to me once in middle school, though. When I saw that girl was crying, though, yes, I did see that. I was terrified. I was young and mean. Yeah, I was. And yes, this is the last video for now, so let's get into it. He just made a new video like a couple months ago already. No. How long was that? Hold up a second. Let me check for a sec. That was 19 hours ago, man. That was like already. Let's see.
My name is Gus, and this is my story. This took place when I was about 15 years old. It all started during the summer break. Spencer, one of my friends, said he and two others, Jose and Marco, were going up to his beach cottage for 3 days and asked if I wanted to join them. I asked my mother, and she gave me the green light. I packed my bag and said goodbye to my family. Once we arrived, Spencer's mom made us her famous homemade peanut butter cookies. After that, we all went swimming in the lake, played volleyball in the sand, and overall had a blast. Until that night. I got an idea. How about we all go explore the woods? Said Spencer. It's dark out, man. Can't we explore it during the day? Replied Jose. Now, where's the fun in that? I said. I'm down if you're all down, Marco said. We all nodded our heads and prepared to head out. Spencer got a lantern, Marco and I got flashlights, and Jose got a fire extinguisher and a lighter. Okay, I somewhat understand the lighter, but why the fire extinguisher? Marco said. You don't know what could be out there, man. Take it from me, Jose replied. With that, we walked out the back door and into the woods, following the train. We began to hear a strange noise coming from our left, toward the beach. About 5 minutes in, our suspicion grew as we heard it get closer. We all formed a circle in an instant to see what was going on in all directions. That's when we heard a man yelling at the top of his lungs, and he was getting closer by the second. I pointed my flashlight in the direction I heard the noise, and what I saw terrified me. An old man, possibly in his mid-70s, was staring at the moon with something in his hand. I pointed it out to my boys, and they had the same reaction, drawing the man's attention. The man then looked at all of us, revealing what he was holding, and what I saw got my attention. The man was holding an axe. He then...
Man, this dude just stepped on a stick again. He's like 1 and then 2. Really.
Charged at us at full speed, and we were all terrified until Jose stepped in front of us and sprayed him in the face with the fire extinguisher, temporarily blinding him. We took this opportunity to run back to the cottage. We were all exhausted and terrified, afraid that the man would find us again. As a result, we decided not to call the cops. My friends and I begged Spencer's mom to take us home the next day, and she agreed. I never told my parents that this ever happened, knowing they wouldn't believe me. Sometimes I think back and remember this story, and ask myself, what would have happened if Jose never brought the fire extinguisher? Or worse, what if I never pointed my flashlight in the direction of the sound?
You'll be dead, so that is true. If you don't bring the fire extinguisher, bro, you would have been dead if y'all don't bring weapons or nothing, bro. So my his friend brought it though already. What the heck? Yeah, I didn't see this one. No, I already know, y'all. That was. I'm gonna save that video right there for now, cause it's already midnight. Morning. So, what's a lot again? See you on the next video, and bye. Who the frick did I just step on, bro? Damn, that just hit me. Talk to you later and bye. And it's already morning, so. Good morning. Let's just see. Okay. I got games to do, so I just feel like playing games, bro. By the way, let me finish the goddamn bendy game, man. Granny Hobbs and everything. I keep forgetting about that, bro. So I'll be on to that, and I'll see you all in the next video, and bye. Alright, let me just punch this camera because I just feel like I don't feel like doing that.